Hello everybody! In this video I'll teach you how to sing Hoomei. I'm really excited about this, so let's get going. Now, something that I can tell you is that unfortunately there is very limited resources that you find on the internet about learning Hoomei. You find a lot of songs, a lot of demonstrations, a lot of concerts, performances, but very few tutorials teaching you Hoomei. This is why I thought it would be a great idea to make this video, because most tutorials that you find either teach you something else, most of them just teach you normal like Western overtone singing, which is not Hoomei. It's very hard to find a good tutorial. I found only like one professional tutorial. The problem is it's not in English. I'll leave the link in the description, but I doubt it'll be very useful to you. Okay, you find information basically, but you have to look for it. You have to really look for it, and I'll leave some useful links in the description. Now, before we start learning Hoomei, I think it is very important that you know what Hoomei is, because if you want to sing Hoomei, you should at least know what you're singing, okay? And I will tell you what Hoomei is with a little story. Once upon a time, thousands of years ago, in the peoples of Central Asia, the nomadic peoples of Central Asia, there was one boy who separated from his people, and he went and he lived alone for 3 years next to a river. And he stood there next to, there was like a big rock, a mountain, there was like river going by, like passing by, and he stood there, he lived there for 3 years, and as he stayed there, he heard the sounds of nature. He was impressed, and he started imitating those sounds. Eventually he started singing himself. So he came up with a way of singing which resembles, not perfectly imitates, but resembles, it is inspired from the sounds of nature, the sounds of water, birds, wind, and so on. And when he came to his people, he sang to them, and the people called it Hoomei. And this is where the term comes from, at least according to the legend. So yeah, this should tell you kind of what Hoomei is. If you have, obviously you probably have questions more than this, yeah, you will find out. I will do demonstrations of 10 major styles that I know, and I will try to teach you each of the styles, okay? So, in Hoomei, we have two voices. We have the frog voice and the chest voice. Any style of Hoomei is based on either one of these two voices. There's no style in which you use your normal voice or any other voice. So if you hear people say that, okay, they do throat singing, but they use their normal voice, that's not throat singing, that's not Hoomei, that's called Western overtone singing. This is where I was going when I was saying that most tutorials teach you something else. Okay, so you're not using your normal voice in any of the styles. So the first voice, which I call frog voice, but in fact in Tuvan it's called Kargîra. It's a style called Kargîra, which has more like smaller styles into it, more variations, and it comes from a word which means wheezing, or like the crooking sound. You'll see why it's called like that. So in Kargîra, what happens is that you get these muscles here to vibrate at the same time with your normal vocal folds or vocal cords. These muscles here don't vibrate. When you speak, like right now, they don't vibrate. But if you get them to vibrate, they create a note which is 1 octave below the note that you are singing with the normal vocal folds. So it's basically singing with two voices at the same time, and it sounds like you're singing a very low note, an octave lower than what you're actually singing, which you would not normally be able to achieve otherwise. So the first style, which is based on the frog voice, it's called Dag Kargîra, mountain Kargîra. So it goes like this. I think that was pretty decent performance. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I've done a little bit better other times, but it was pretty solid. The way you do this voice is by letting out more air at the same time, as well as constricting your vocal folds. So I will let you see the difference between my normal voice and the Dag Kargîra. So my normal voice is Dag Kargîra is This is done at a low note, so usually just 2 notes above the lowest note that you can sing, usually so around that. So you find a low note that you're something like kind of a low note that you're comfortable with, and yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, so the next style that I'm going to be demonstrating is called Hovu Kargîra. It means steppe Kargîra. This style is a little bit higher, usually like 2 notes higher than, 2 tones higher than Dag Kargîra, mountain Kargîra. And you're putting more pressure on your vocal folds, so the sound is more raspy and like less resonant. You know, it's like, you know, more, I'll show you how it is. So using the same fundamental technique, but now you are putting more pressure and it creates a slightly different sound, and also it's a little bit of a higher note, okay? So this is how Hovu Kargîra sounds like. So I'll let you see the difference between Dag Kargîra and Hovu Kargîra. Dag Kargîra is and Hovu Kargîra is Now, as you can see, I am selecting overtones by articulating different vowels from this is yeah, this is how you select different overtones, by articulating the vowel sounds. Yeah, so you see more wide opening of the mouth here in the Kargîra style. There's also a modern style of Kargîra which is called still Oidupaa Style, Oidupaa, and it comes from a person called Vladimir Oidupaa. And this is a very difficult style, and I'll try to demonstrate it. You basically sing higher notes with the Hovu Kargîra voice. Now there's a different style called Čîlandîk, it means cricket, but I'll leave that to the end and I'll tell you why later. Now I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to teach you the chest voice. This is the chest voice. This is different from my normal voice, because my normal voice is you can see the difference here. And what this voice does is that it filters the sound. It filters your voice, because when you sing, there's more notes mixed together which make your voice, more frequencies. But when you use this voice, you are filtering a lot of the frequencies, so now you are left with 2 tones. This is why it sounds like you're singing 2 notes at the same time, and I will show you different styles based on this voice. Okay, so the first style based on the chest voice is called Hoomei. Now, this is a confusion here, because Hoomei means throat singing in general, but it also means this particular style, so it means 2 things. So in Hoomei, you use the chest voice on a note that is middle range. For me, the lowest note would be and the note that I will use for Hoomei will be somewhere around something like that. It could be a little lower or a little higher, but around that. In Hoomei you use the chest voice, and you use your tongue, you move your tongue back and forth, like if you were whistling, to make different overtones. So the way you move your tongue, and I'll whistle now, but it's not whistling, I'll just show you how you move your tongue. Something like that. So, I'm not good at whistling, but just to show how you move your tongue. And you can also achieve a lower note, like so if you do Hoomei, it would sound like something like this. So, after regular Hoomei, the style that I'm going to teach you is called Borbangnadîr. Hoomei-Borbangnadîr, because there's also another variation. So, Borbangnadîr comes from the Tuvan word which means to roll a round object. And in this style, you move your tongue very fast, creating the sound that water would make, like a stream of water. And it sounds pretty good, I think. So this is how this style sounds like. You're using the same voice, same technique, but now you're just doing those movements of the tongue. So it's really just a small variation, but yeah, it creates a very good sound. So the next style that we are going to learn, or that you are going to learn, and I'm going to show you after this style called Hoomei-Borbangnadîr, is called Ezenghileer. Hoomei-Ezenghileer, because there's also another variation of Ezenghileer that I will show you later after that. So Ezenghileer is a style in which you sing alternatively through your mouth and through your nose, and then through your mouth and through your nose. You are alternating between mouth and nose, and this literally means, the word Ezenghileer comes from a word in Tuvan which means stirrup, I think it's called in English. So that's like on the horse, where you put your feet when you ride a horse, you know, the thing where you put your foot or your feet when you ride a horse. So that's where the word Ezenghileer comes from, and you are creating basically a rhythm which is similar to the rhythm of a horse when galloping. Yeah, so I think that sounds pretty good also. You're using the same voice, same Hoomei style, but now you are just breathing in a different way. Okay, so this is how Hoomei-Ezenghileer sounds like. And obviously with Ezenghileer you are making a rhythm now, and that can be faster or slower, so you can make something like that, so you can make a faster or slower rhythm depending on the song that you're singing. Okay, so the next style that I'm going to teach you is a major style, which means it's not just a variation of another style like Borbangnadîr and Ezenghileer. This style is a major, it's a pillar, it's one of the major three styles. It's called Sîgît. Sîgît comes from the Tuvan word which means to whistle. It also means, Sîgît also means wailing, but it's let's just call it the whistle style. And the reason why it's called the whistle style, it's because it creates a whistle-like sound. What you do is that you put your tongue like this, You're using your Houmei voice, your it's called Horekteer, or the chest voice that I told you. You're using this voice, and you put your tongue like this. It just sits naturally in the most natural way. It's not pushing into the roof of your mouth. It should make a whistle if you put your lips like that, even though you don't, when you actually sing, you don't keep your lips like that. But if you blow, it should make a whistle. That's how you know your tongue is in the right position. Yeah, if I put it in like behind or in front, it doesn't make whistle, so it's way to know that your tongue is in good position. So as I said, because it makes a whistle, that means there's space for air to come through, so it's not blocking the air, but also it's creating a chamber inside of your mouth which amplifies the overtone. It's creating a different sort of overtone. And what happens because you put your tongue like that is that the overtone, the second, the high note, it comes first. It comes first, and you hear it louder. Even though the way you hear it depends on where you stand on, or where you stand at, like your position from the person singing. For example, if I sing outside, somebody coming from the distance, and I sing Sîgît, they will hear whistling. And as they come closer, they will start to tell that, okay, it's not just a whistling, it's also a voice behind that whistling. If they sit right next to me, then they will be able to hear that there's two notes which are almost like the same volume. But because one note is heard first, it's the way we hear it that we perceive, our brains perceive the high note, the overtone, as being louder than the fundamental. Okay, so here's how Sîgît sounds like. So the next style after we learned the regular Sîgît is called Sîgît-Borbangnadîr. And if you remember, Houmei-Borbangnadîr is the same thing but with Sîgît. So basically, you do Sîgît like the previous style, and you move your tongue and lips fast, in like fast motions, and you create the sounds, this time sounding more like a bird in my opinion, but yeah, it's pretty much similar. Okay, finally, last style. It's called Sîgît-Ezenghileer. It's the same as Hoomei-Ezenghileer, but now you're doing with Sîgît. So Borbangnadîr and Ezenghileer are for both Houmei and Sîgît, but for Houmei they're easier. Usually they're done on Houmei, but also I've heard a lot of Sîgît-Ezenghileer from some singers as well. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. You do alternate from mouth and nose, breathe alternatively from mouth and nose, mouth, nose, mouth, nose. So yeah, it's but you do with Sîgît. You're doing it with Sîgît now.
Mario kaya pamala sama sa siyadar siyamay ahon.
There is one style that I forgot to teach you. Sorry for that, it's my bad, but I keep my promises, so I said I'll teach you all the styles that I know. I'll teach you all the styles that I know. This style is called Čîlandîk. Now I already mentioned Čîlandîk in this tutorial, but I said I'll move it to the end of the tutorial first. In the beginning I wanted to do it after Hovu Kargîra, because it's a variation of Hovu Kargîra, but the reason why I left it to the end is because it's a combination between Hovu Kargîra and Sîgît. There's no point in trying to learn Čîlandîk until you have learned Sîgît. So Čîlandîk, as I said, it's called cricket. You are using the Hovu Kargîra voice, which is you are using this voice. You're putting the tongue like in Sîgît, like on the roof of your mouth. Let me just show you. Like that. In case you didn't see, this should make it clear. Okay, you're putting your tongue like that. I've already explained in Sîgît how to put your tongue. I'm not going to go through that again. So now you're combining between Hovu Kargîra and Sîgît. And see, it's pretty cool sound. Čîlandîk means cricket. And I think the sound, it's because the sound kind of sounds like a cricket. The overtone kind of sounds like a cricket. So yeah, check it out. Guys, you know what this means? This means that my throat is not in very good condition after all the singing today. Therefore, because, I forgot about this style and I sang a lot, while making the tutorial and even after, in the tutorial I only put I cut parts because I cannot put 5 minutes for each style, but actually I sing a lot more than that. I just cut the part that I want and I put it there. Like the best demonstration, I try more times. I'm not that good that all demonstrations of mine, every time I sing is perfect. No, sometimes it's decent, other times it's good, other times it's very good. I want it to be very good for you guys, okay? This is because this is not just normal. I'm not normally singing. I am recording a tutorial for you, so I want to be as good as it can be. Therefore, just as I said, because my throat is not in very good condition, I don't want to give you a bad example, a bad demonstration, and it's also not good for my throat now. So I say, okay, I'm going to put a video. I'm going to put a video from a few weeks ago that I recorded a few weeks ago. And hopefully that would be enough. It's Čîlandîk, it's the style that I wanted to show you, so instead of singing it right now in front of you, I will just put that video and hopefully it's okay with you. So now that we're done with all of the styles, the tutorial is officially over, but I still have to give you a few advices. Okay, first of all, this is obviously hard to do and it takes a lot of practice. You need to train your throat. If you feel that it starts to hurt, even if it's after a few minutes or something. When I tried to do Kargîra for the first time, it hurt after 2 seconds, literally. So be careful, be careful with your throat. Don't do it too much, don't, just be careful, be patient. We will take a long time. It took me 6 months to get to a basic kind of a level where I can say that I'm kind of well-founded. I'm not exceptional, but I am well-founded. I got a good foundation. It took 6 months to get the good foundation that I'm talking about right now. So yeah, just be moderate. And also, thank you guys for watching, and if you want to see more of any videos that I do, if you want to see more of this guy right here, then make sure to subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.